Hi there, welcome to this training series from the Woodlands Church Academy on worship. We're so pleased that you're interested in joining one of our worship teams in one of our congregations. And what we'd love you to do is to watch these videos. There'll be some training, some input, some values and vision. And at the end of each video, there'll be a few questions for you to think about and to answer. What we'd love you to do is to download the booklet, fill in your answers after you've watched each session in your own time. And when you've done all of them, to meet up again with the worship leader from your congregation. Do you enjoy the content?
Hi, I'm Carolyn. I'm part of the worship team based within the community church at Southmead. We're so pleased that you've shown an interest in, or you actually want to come and join the worship team as part of your church family. We hope you volunteered your time and commitment to be part of the worship team because you recognise the natural musical talents that God has given you, and you want to use those talents to serve others. In 1 Peter, we're reminded that every good thing we have is ours only through God's grace, and we are to use the things that He has given us for His purpose. So we should be good stewards of these musical gifts, using them well and responsibly, ultimately so we can worship God ourselves, and then as part of the worship team, we can help others to worship God too. I guess a question we ask ourselves is, how can we continue to grow musically and spiritually as we serve as part of this team? Before we consider our musical skill growth and development, as chosen children of God primarily, we need to consider our personal journey and relationship with God in our everyday lives. There's a great quote that I read from a worship team coach called John Nichol. He said, "Our platform worship should never exceed our private worship." It is so important that we get that balance right. In Romans 12, Paul says that as a response to what God has done for us, through Jesus, our true and proper worship is to offer ourselves wholly to Him, to live a life of worship, surrendering our ways to God, becoming more like Him in the way we live, the way we think, and the way we act. Making space for God in our sometimes crazy personal lives is essential. Developing a relationship with Him, getting to know His heart for us, for the people about us in our everyday lives, in our communities, and for His church. God desires that His worshippers, that's us, have a heart that seeks and follows His ways. We don't have to have this completely right before we begin to serve. It's all about our heart attitude. A great verse in Micah reminds us that we are called to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God. As musicians, our focus remains on glorifying God, reflecting all praise to Him, while also using and developing our musical skills to enable that to happen. Having been given a talent or skill and called to use it, it's our responsibility to continue to develop and hone it. In Matthew 25, Jesus shares the parable of the talents, one you might already remember, a story about a master entrusting his property to his servants before leaving on a journey, and then how, on his return, he rewards them, reflecting what they have done with what was entrusted to them. Paul reminds us in 2 Timothy that we have been entrusted with the gospel, God's story, to share and to fan into flame the gifts that He has given us. These can be both our natural and our spiritual gifts. Developing our musical skills and gifts can be done in a variety of ways, on our own, gaining confidence in our technical or vocal ability, or alongside other more experienced musicians, seeking advice, learning new skills. It is also important that we learn together as part of a worship team, exploring ways to enhance our worship by working together as members of one body, as was described in 2 Corinthians, where everyone has a valued place. Making use of our team practice sessions or workshops help us to develop our skills further. You might also consider seeking out a mentor to support your development. We don't have to be perfect, but we have to have a heart that is open to learning and developing. As we worship together, there may be times of stepping up into new places, challenging ourselves to grow, or maybe stepping back to make space for others. This comes from learning together, practically knowing each other's musical ability, being skilled and sensitive in the way that we play and respond to each other, and also to the prompt of God as we worship. As we lead worship as a team, we want to make a way, opening space, being open to give God centre stage and not causing a distraction. be using our gifts as we come to praise God together. We are and should be always learning, growing and developing. Even in this chat, it takes me out of my comfort zone. I love the verse in Proverbs 3, which is actually a verse that was given to me at my baptism. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths." This is my prayer, and you may share it with me, that with my whole heart I will choose to trust God, rely wholly on him for the known and the unknown things, the things that I hold and the places I serve, and by trusting and following him using the gifts that God has generously given me, he will make my path straight. Being part of the worship team is really exciting, and we can't wait for you to join us. Thanks.
There you are, there's the content from this session. Do look at the questions now and fill them in the booklet. Thanks so much.